coming home. It's
quite that song.
coming home. Well, I tell you what, Theo, I've got a smile on my boat race today.
Yeah, why? Average day, it's raining. Why are you
It's
happy?
true. Thogden 5 points. That is a common Thogden L. James Olcott 6 points, and Thogdad with a common Thogdad W 9 points. I'm coming back. I'm also happy because last night at football, how good was I in goal? I tell you what, Theo, I am the best goalkeeper in YouTube.
It's funny you said that.
The best goalie in this video today.
No, be quiet, you mug, because I have brought on the best goalie in football YouTube. It's not Ben Foster. It's not Pieface. It's Cal the Dragon.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I thought he was busy with the Garden League.
He's taken days off to take on the TDL in Game Week 13 predictions. Are you ready for this?
Theo, I'm never ready for Cal the Shagger.
I hope you guys are good. Back with another Premier League predictions, but let's get straight into it.
And because we've got such a great guest on, this is how many likes I'd want, Theo. 10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
Can we do it for Cal the Dragon?
It's Cal the Dragon, mate.
Shall we get the other best goalkeeper on next, Pieface, if we get 10k likes? Next
in the
Simon
corner,
charity
Theo.
match,
How good was
Dog Dad in
that?
goal, or Gaffer.
I'm
Either
Gaffer,
one.
mate. I'm Gaffer. Me against Goldbridge. Bring it on. Honestly, everyone thinks that Goldbridge is some sort of manager with his modern ways and his waistcoat. Rubbish. Thogdad as manager, we do him.
He's the
honestly.
man of people. But let's get into
so annoyed by
Let's
that.
get into our first guy. I've got to relax this guy.
Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. It's 20th against 7th. Now, last week, Theo, Forest had no shots on target against Brighton.
No shots on target, no shirt sponsor, no goals, 9 consecutive winless league matches. Where do they go from here?
Well, I tell you what, they're facing Liverpool, Theo. I don't know if you saw the game. Darwin Núñez, he's faster. What a good goal that was with his head.
And they're back-to-back now with 1-0 wins over Man City and West Ham. Surely they continue this run. Will they score as many as Rangers away? I don't know. But they're still chasing their first win on the road in the Premier League.
But surely, away at Nottingham Forest, it should be an easy, convincing win, shouldn't it?
The way the club is run, I feel like there's disorganisation at Nottingham Forest this season. I don't get how you can go this far into the season without a shirt sponsor. I don't see it gelling in this game week. I predicted Forest to win last week. This time, they're losing 3-0.
I don't think it'll be 3, Theo, but I'm going with 2. Forest 0, Liverpool 2.
It makes sense. They've got a lot of fixtures. They've only just played 2 days ago. They've got Champions League coming up. And they've got injuries. Firmino scores a brace, but it wouldn't surprise me if Darwin Núñez plays excellently.
Over to the Garden, Cal the Dragon.
I'm going to go Forest 1, Liverpool 2. It's got a bit too much, but I think Forest will give them a good game.
Everton versus Crystal Palace, 15th against 11th. Now, Everton in a bit of a slump. Lost 3 in a row. Last week, no shots on target. Bit miserable.
Last time they faced off, it was iconic though. And it was a 5-goal thriller. Everton went 2-0 down and scored 3 goals for one of the most special games in the Premier League. It was survival. Frank Lampard, Iwobi masterclass. Could we see another Iwobi masterclass? I'm unsure, because since they've last scored, which was the Nigerian, it was 265 minutes of football ago. Will they score in this matchup?
I think they will, Theo, but they're playing a Crystal Palace team who I thought were excellent against Wolves. I thought that whole front line, in fact, the front 6, Theo, was spectacular. Eze, Elise, and Zaha, man of the match. Superb to watch.
He turned up when need be, but the problem is away from home. 180 minutes, 0 goals.
Yes.
So you know what? I'm going to go out here and say a 0-0.
You've done your homework today. Now, I think Crystal Palace will score. I think they might nick it. But because of that record, Theo, I'm going Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Both very likely predictions. I think a draw is set for this match. If Everton sneak it 1-0, though, amazing result because it turns around their form. I just don't see it happening against Vieira.
Over there's a train. I think Cal the Dragon's on it.
Pretty tricky one to predict, to be honest, because Everton can be quite good at home. I'm going to go Everton 0, Palace 1.
Manchester City against Brighton and Hove Albion. Theo, it's 2nd against 8th. Now, Man City had a week off last week, but before that, let's not forget they lost to Liverpool. Can they lose again to Brighton?
God, 180 minutes without a goal for City.
90 minutes. They didn't play last week.
Copenhagen in the Champions League.
Yeah, fair enough.
0-0.
Fair enough.
And a 1-0. This is odd time for City. You never expect that because if you look at their home form, they're averaging 5 goals scored in the last 3 games. I think it's 4, 5, 6. So a pretty simple average. Will they do it again against a Brighton, which looks beaten down under De Zerbi? Didn't score against Forest at home. How many chances did they have? Can I just mention they've had 54 shots on goal without scoring.
That is awful, Theo, and I reckon this bit's going to be in black and white, Theo, because the editor, Josh Fusion, cannot be happy. 2 points in the last 4 games. Bit of a mini slump for Brighton.
They haven't adapted to life since Potter went to Chelsea, but Foden has, with Haaland being his teammate. Them two seem to score for fun at home. How many will Phil score?
Well, Man City averaging 3.3 goals per game, more at home.
Yep.
I think this will be a comfortable win. Brighton might score, but I'm not going to give them a goal. City 3, Brighton 0.
I'm not going to lie, I took a point hit to bring in Foden this week. I think they're going mad. 4-0. Foden and Haaland both to be on the score sheet. Remember I said that. Let's go over to a keeper. Last seen leaving York nightclub.
Brighton have not scored in quite some time, but Man City, is Haaland dropping off? I don't know. But I'm going to go Man City 3, Brighton 1.
Chelsea against Manchester United, 4th against 5th. Surely the game of the weekend, Theo. But Chelsea against Brentford, you were there.
I was there.
Draw.
I think Potter and Frank have too much respect for each other. I genuinely believe that. The way they were speaking in a pre-match interview and asking each other about their tactics, it was like a love story. They both built their club in similar fashion, spending money at the right time, Brentford and Brighton. And obviously, Frank must be quite happy to see Potter get an opportunity within the top 6. Maybe that will lead him onto something in the future. Let's get back to Chelsea. They have been unbelievable under Graham. Only 2 goals conceded from 7 matches since he's come in. 5 clean sheets in a row. But you can't deny it's looking brilliant at the back, and even without Reece James.
That is true, Theo. They are the form team of the league. But let's talk about Man United. Against Tottenham Hotspur, they were sensational. Bruno Fernandes back to his best. And if it wasn't for Hugo Lloris, it could have been 4 or 5-0. I think this would be a good game. A draw would be sensible to predict, but I'm going for Chelsea.
Really?
To win 2-1.
But Ten Hag's got a great record on the road. 5 wins from 6 games. That's something United haven't had in terms of that record away from home in the last few years. But from 11 head-to-head meetings versus Chelsea, they've only lost once.
True.
And you're predicting a second.
I am. I'm sure you are as well.
Well, it all depends on the Ronaldo situation. Let's have a talk about it. What was your thoughts on that? Are you backing Manchester United or are you backing Cristiano Ronaldo? Because you're a Ronaldo fan.
I am backing Manchester United, Theo. They had an excellent 2-0 win, and Cristiano Ronaldo had to make it about himself. If you're asked to go on the pitch for 5 minutes, you go on the pitch for 5 minutes. The manager runs the club, not the player. I thought that was disgraceful from Ronaldo. He should be fined a week's wages and have his wrist slapped.
But do you think it's a bit disrespectful that, number one, he's still not getting game time, and when he does get offered onto the pitch, it's for 3 minutes to run around and hold off a win?
United beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0. It was superb, Theo.
Yeah.
He's not due anything. Why do you have to play him? You don't.
I've always been a Messi fan, but I'm so happy to see the true colours come out of what people call the GOAT. He is nowhere near Haaland. He is nowhere near Messi. He doesn't deserve to play for Manchester United ever again. Let's get to our prediction. Chelsea rotated heavily versus Brentford, but they only have a 2-day break before going again. They showed to me enough that they're good defensively, and with those players back, I'm going to go for a tight Blues win. Stamford Bridge will be rocking. I may even be there. Both teams to score. Marcus Rashford and Mount will be on the score sheet, but the 3 points will go to the blue side.
Brentford still unbeaten. Manchester United turned a corner a lot. This has got a draw written all over it. I'm going to go Chelsea 2, Manchester United 2.
Wolverhampton Wanderers against Leicester City, 18th against 19th. This will be a moody Midlands derby, won't it, Theo? Now, last week, Wolves, Adama Traore, bullet header. What a goal that was. But 5 goals this season, not good enough for Wolves, is it?
They lost 2-1 to Palace. That's not good enough.
I know it
and
isn't.
when they held it at 1-0, if they kept that result and the fashion of that game, they could have won 3 points. I like the new fullback though, Bueno. That's something. He's only 3.9 on FPL for you. I was looking at him today. Wolves have some good games coming up, and this is one of them. A Jose Sarr masterclass last time out at home to Forest. It was a penalty save and a goal that they found that determined 3 points. Will they get another 3 points on board?
Oh, it's a tough one, this. Now, Leicester beat Leeds United. They had 1 shot on goal and scored 2 goals, Theo.
Yeah.
Because of that own goal. It didn't look that great, but they've got 3 clean sheets in 4 games.
Well, Brendan Rodgers has bought himself some more time, and going from the team that have conceded the most, 24 goals, to recently keeping a very tight defence. Maybe he's found the problems. I predict Wolves 1-0, Diego Costa to score. He will break the deadlock here.
That would be amazing, Theo, and I agree with you. It's going to be low scoring. Wolves 1, Leicester 0.
Who scores?
I'm going to give it to Podence.
Was this the turning point? I'm going to go Wolves 1, Leicester 2.
Aston Villa against Brentford, 17th against 10th. But all we have to say, Theo, is Steven Gerrard. 3-0 defeat to Fulham. And you called this, didn't you, Theo?
I did. I said moments after the game, when they lose, he will go. and it was a battering 3-0. And I swear the timing of that sacking was unbelievable. He must have been on the team coach back, checked his Twitter feed. Aston Villa have announced Steven Gerrard has been sacked.
Got to mention something else there. Douglas Luiz, when the score was 1-0, he decided to headbutt an opposition player and get sent off.
So he's lost the dressing room.
Nice one, Douglas Luiz.
So he's lost the dressing room.
No. I'm sorry. You've got to point the finger at Douglas Luiz.
Really?
He's probably got Gerrard fired. And I'm really annoyed by this, Theo.
Yeah?
Because Gerrard's been fired because he's had 4 or 5 bad results. Yeah?
Are you defending Gerrard?
I am defending him because he's a young manager who's not being allowed to learn.
11 players have been demotivated for week on week. Aston Villa fans travel all around the country and abroad for pre-season just to see them with the same results and getting worse. They invested heavily at the beginning of the summer. Where are the improvements in that squad? They are not visible. The tactics are not changing. It was the correct decision to sack Steven Gerrard. 4 points in 2 games, beat Brighton and kept Chelsea clean sheet. Draw, solid result. Ivan Toney nearly scored and nicked it too. That's not bad form. They could go there and smash it.
Talking of Brentford, Theo, the goalkeeper Raya, how superb is he?
David Raya, mate. He should be in all your FPL teams. He's not even in mine. I want him. Which way does this game go? Because I think the dressing room at Villa will be awful.
I think perhaps the players will turn up. It's going to be a close game. I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
I don't think this will be close. I think Brentford are going to capitalise on what is a beaten down Aston Villa team. I think Brentford win. Their tactics and the shape will look brilliant. It'll be a masterclass. Ivan Toney will score and it'll be Shandon Baptiste to drop a... He's my mate now.
He's your mate.
Yeah, he'll drop a masterclass. Watch him.
Wasn't surprised when I heard about Steven Gerrard getting sacked literally just minutes after losing 3-0 to Fulham. But could this be the turning point for Villa? I don't think so just yet. I'm going to go Aston Villa 0, Brentford 2.
Southampton against Arsenal, 14th against first. Southampton last week won away at Bournemouth there. Che Adams' early header. Bit of a mini revival there.
I just find it mad that on Wednesday, their own fans were singing, "You're getting sacked in the morning" to Ralph Hasenhüttl. They've now ended what was a winless run. Where do they go from here? He's bought himself some time, but surely...
Honestly, Theo, all I can say, if that happened, Theo, give your head a wobble. If you're
Really?
singing that about your own manager, that's disgraceful. Arsenal didn't play last week, did they, in the league? But they're
Rested
4 points clear of Man City. Let's not forget that. They've been absolutely superb this season. I don't think they'll smash Southampton.
They're still searching for that English crown for the first time in 19 years. They've now got back-to-back 1-0 wins, 3 in a row. A heavily rotated team versus PSV, so everybody is rested up for this big match. 2-0 goals from Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus.
Wow, I think it's going to be Southampton 1, Arsenal 2, but I'm more interested in the view of a dragon whose name is Callum.
Pretty straightforward, to be honest, because Arsenal just run away with this league at the minute. I'm going to go Southampton 0, Arsenal 3.
Leeds United in 16th against Fulham in 9th. Leeds a little bit unlucky last week against Leicester, like we said, but Theo, 1 point in 5 games, worst form in the league.
I feel a high-scoring encounter coming because Leeds need a reaction after their horrible form. Jesse Marsch has actually led the team on to their worst start since the 03-04 season, where Leeds got relegated. At the beginning of the year, I predicted Leeds to be 1 place off relegation, and I believe I got roasted for saying that low. Now look at the Premier League table. It's awful for them.
Fulham, of course, battered Villa 3-0 last week. Harrison Reed, what a goal that was. Mitrovic got a goal with a really poor penalty.
Willian smashed it in the last game. I think if he starts for Fulham, they'll look good. Palhinha is back, so him and Reed have that duo, which is one of the best in the Prem, just saying. Fulham could easily go there and win. They're in a better situation. It's a more positive dressing room, but they need the points less. So I'm going to sit on the fence here and go a high-scoring 2-2 draw.
I think that is a good guess, Theo, but I think Leeds are due a win, and I think it comes here. Leeds United 2, Fulham 1.
Wow, that would be big. They need it. Jesse Marsch needs it.
Leeds 1, Fulham 1, actually. I'm going to go draw.
Tottenham Hotspur against Newcastle United. It's 3rd against 6th, Theo, and one of the games of the weekend.
Game of the week,
Spurs were poor last week, but at home, Theo, they win everything, don't they?
Battle for Champions League.
Do you think Newcastle have any chance of getting to the Champions League?
With the centre-back duo of Fabian Schär and Sven Botman, Nick Pope in goal, Trippier, the way he's playing, they should go to Tottenham and have the attitude they can win. Conte didn't make changes against United until the 82nd minute, when the game was done and dusted. Does that show a little bit of arrogance? If you're on the bench looking to change the game, you'd be frustrated.
Wow, harsh words from Theo. All I'll say, Newcastle have been magnificent. Almiron, he looks like a different player this season. I think they might fall away a little bit. For me, Theo, they're not Champions League contenders, but they could certainly be sort of 8th, 9th, 10th.
It's that defensive record, and even away from home, throughout the season, only conceded 4 goals. That's less goals than when they last went to Tottenham, when they lost 5-1. That's unbelievable.
I'm going Spurs to win 1-0, Theo.
I'm going Spurs to win 1-0 as well. It's boring, but it's bound to happen, like a Sun goal in the 67th minute.
But I'll tell you someone who isn't boring, Cal the Dragon.
Tottenham 2, Newcastle 2. Just because Tottenham has dropped off him just recently, but Newcastle, I think, they're the draw specialists at the minute.
West Ham United against Bournemouth, a middle of the table clash, 13th against 12th here. What's going to happen here?
David Moyes will get all 3 points. Gary O'Neill took his first L against Southampton, 1-0 loss. Won't be happy with that. It's been good form, but I think it's where he takes another loss here. Time to sell Solanke on FPL.
West Ham, Theo, if Bowen could take a penalty, they'd have drawn against Liverpool.
They should have given it to Scamacca. No Virgil van Dijk stamp on the penalty spot. You know, everyone's been saying like, oh, he's such a... It doesn't make a difference. If you play Sunday League, you run over the spot about 100 times in the match.
Theo, I'd have got me spade out. I'd been digging it up.
Bring me on to Bournemouth, Dad.
Bournemouth losing to Southampton, the South Coast derby. They will not like that. But let's not forget their form. Since they lost 9-0 to Liverpool, their form has been good.
It's been solid, hasn't it? And I think they can kick on. So let's see. I'm going 2-0 as things stand. If Bournemouth score a couple and get a draw at London Stadium, it wouldn't surprise me.
I agree, Theo. West Ham 2. I think Bournemouth will score 1.
I'm going to go West Ham 2, Bournemouth 0.
Thanks for 10,000 likes for Cal the Dragon. And yeah, Pie Face on next. We'll see you on a bit. Enjoy your weekend, lads and lasses.